There are many myths about the modern economy, but perhaps the most widespread is the belief that manufacturing is disappearing and that we now live in a post-industrial world. The argument usually begins with official statistics showing that the service sector accounts for more than 80% of United States GDP. At first glance, this seems to prove that services have replaced manufacturing as the foundation of the economy. But the reality is far more complicated. Let me explain why. If you visit the website of the US Bureau of Economic Analysis, the government agency that publishes these statistics, you can see how the service sector is actually divided into different industries. The largest category is finance, insurance, and real estate, which together account for about 21% of United States GDP. The next largest category is professional and business services. This sector alone contributes roughly 13% of GDP. I could continue listing the remaining categories, but that isn't the point. The purpose of this video is to show that the service sector is not an independent part of the economy existing in isolation. Instead, it is part of a much larger economic ecosystem that depends heavily on the manufacturing sector. Apple provides an excellent example. According to information published by the company, Apple directly employs around 80,000 people in the United States. Another 450,000 people work for Apple's direct suppliers. If we exclude the App Store ecosystem and break these supplier jobs down by industry, Apple supports approximately 64,000 jobs in technical support, 23,000 in financial services, 24,000 in logistics, 58,000 in sales, and nearly 93,000 in other industries. Now imagine what would happen if Apple did not manufacture products at all. A significant portion of those service jobs would simply disappear. In other words, many of these services exist because manufacturing exists. There is another important point. Everyone knows that many American companies moved production to China. However, what is often overlooked is that they transferred only one part of their operations, final assembly. In one of my previous videos, I explained how automation dramatically reduced the skill level required for many assembly line jobs. Once this happened, companies had little reason to pay American wages for work that could be performed elsewhere at much lower cost. As a result, they relocated labor-intensive manufacturing to countries such as China or Mexico. However, the most valuable parts of the business remained in the United States. Research and development, product design, software engineering, marketing, finance, and corporate management all stayed at home. These activities were then integrated into a single global production system. The iPhone is designed in the United States, assembled in China, and shipped back to the United States, where it is sold through Apple's retail network. This may sound obvious, but it highlights an important economic principle. Within Apple's global value chain, research, design, and other high-value services contribute to United States GDP, while physical manufacturing contributes primarily to China's GDP. This helps explain why manufacturing accounts for only about 10% of United States GDP, but roughly 40% of China's GDP. Let's look at another example. Logistics. Logistics is classified as part of the service sector and contributes approximately 3.5% of United States GDP. In 2024, logistics generated around $980 billion in economic output. But what is logistics? Simply put, it is the movement of goods from one place to another. Logistics companies earn revenue by transporting products. Since one company's revenue is another company's expense, transportation costs become part of the final cost of the goods being sold. However, when GDP is calculated by industry, logistics is recorded as a separate service rather than as part of manufacturing. In reality, though, logistics is not an independent economic activity. It exists because goods are produced and need to be transported. Of course, logistics also supports imports. Take Apple again as an example. When iPhones are shipped from China to the United States, those shipments count as imports. Apple pays shipping companies, rail operators, trucking firms, and other logistics providers to move its products from Chinese factories to American stores. Those transportation services appear in United States GDP as part of the service sector. Yet without the production of physical goods, those logistics services would have no purpose. This is why I strongly disagree with the claim that services can replace manufacturing. Services and manufacturing are not competing sectors. They are deeply interconnected. Manufacturing creates demand for a vast range of services, from finance and logistics to engineering and technical support. Remove manufacturing from the equation, and much of the service economy loses the foundation on which it depends.